Welcome back. Do you ever overthink things? Do you worry a lot? Well, I'm glad you're here because in this video, we are going to be discussing ways to help you overcome your overthinking and worrying habits so that you can live life more freely. So you want to know how to stop overthinking things and stop worrying so much, right? We all worry so much about all these other things that we really have no control over. How much of your day is spent overthinking things? Oh, did I do that? Should I have done something different? How should I dress? What should I wear? And then as soon as you choose something, it's like, should I have worn something different? Right? So we think and overthink things so much. We worry about what people think of us. We worry about what we're doing or what we're going to do tomorrow or what should we eat for dinner. And so we worry and overthink so much. So much of our energy is spent and wasted on overthinking things and worrying too much. I wrote a children's book called A Worm's Worry, From Worrier to Warrior, to help guardians, parents, to share this message with the young people, to help them understand why worrying is so detrimental and how to get past it so that we can live the life of our dreams. Because if we give in to worry and overthinking things over and over and over again, we miss out a lot, don't we? Because we are so worried about what's going to happen, we never even do it. And so I'd like to share this book with you and invite those of you, if you've got young ones, invite them around and share this story with them. This is A Worm's Worry, From Worrier to Warrior. Twice beneath a rock, there lived a worm. The first worm was named Beatrice. However, this story is not about her. The second worm was named Willie. Willie the worm was a worrier. One dark and dirty morning, Willie lay worrying in his hole about what he would do if it flooded with water. His whole life, he had been taught about all the dangers life had to offer. If you stay in the hole when water falls from either the towers that sprout from the earth or the dark gray sky, then you will drown. Then again, you don't want to be the first worm out of the hole because, as the saying goes, the early worm gets the beak. There were lots of dangerous flying creatures with sharp beaks just waiting. And when you are out of the hole, you can't be out for too long or you will be fried by the hot light in the sky. And of course, we can't forget the giants who dig in the ground purposefully trying to find worms. Willie had heard stories of how the giants take the worms to water and stick a hook through them while they're still alive. They then are put in the water to feed the swimming monsters. That is what scared him the most. Oh, there were so many ways a worm could die. No wonder Willie the worm was a worrier. One day, as Willie lay worrying in his hole, another worm slid up next to him. "Hey," the worm said to Willie, "why are you just laying here not going anywhere?" Willie, not looking at the new worm, said, "It's safest to stay still." "That seems pretty boring and really like a waste of time, dude worm," the new worm commented. "It's how you can increase your chances of survival," said Willie. "All right, dude worm, I'm going to explore the green jungle above." And with that, the new worm slowly slid away. As Willie watched him disappear around the bend, something awoke inside him. He began to be curious as to what an exploration of the jungle might be like. As the curiosity, interest, and hope grew inside of him, images of his parents appeared in his mind, reminding him that curiosity is the #1 killer of worms. A battle raged in his mind between holding on to his parents' advice and the actual emotion he was feeling. He finally decided it wouldn't hurt anything to just go to the edge of the hole and peer out. If there was any danger, he could quickly go back deeper into the hole. He began moving towards the entrance to the hole, feeling both excited and scared. When he first noticed the tunnel getting brighter, he slowed and stopped. His worries and fears came rushing to mind like a great powerful whirlwind. What if the giants are outside? What if a bird gets me? What if? He almost turned around and went back. But he justified to himself that he wouldn't go outside of the hole. He just wanted to see the opening. And with that thought on his mind, he inched around the corner and into the light. At first, the light blinded his eyes. He couldn't see. As Willie's eyes adjusted to the bright light, he was able to see green blades of grass blowing in the gentle breeze. Wow, it's beautiful, he thought to himself. As he looked at the beauty that was outside the hole, some of his fears went away. He slowly moved forward to the edge of the hole. He then stopped abruptly. An image of his mother came blaring into his mind, of her talking to him while he was just a little wormling. On this particular occasion, he was very excited about going outside of the hole and was on his way when she stopped him. "What in the earth do you think you are doing, Willie? Didn't I tell you never to go towards the light?" she shrieked. "It's too dangerous out there." She then went into detail about all the ways he could die or what horrible things could happen to him. He remembered how his excitement had died and was replaced with disappointment, fear, and worry. That was the beginning of his present depressing life. As Willie played these memories in his mind at the edge of the hole, he felt himself begin to shrink back into himself, and he started to turn back into the dark tunnel. As he became aware of this, he stopped himself and said out loud, "It's now or never." He then slid out of the hole. Once outside, he flinched, waiting to be eaten by a flying monster or picked up by a giant. Nothing happened. He inched a little farther away from the hole. Still, nothing happened. At this point, his excitement and confidence really began to go up, while his fears and worries decreased. As he looked around, he was amazed by the many colors. The blue sky above, the green grass, the brown dirt. He could actually see the dirt now that he was in the light. He also saw a yellow dandelion swaying gently in the breeze overhead. As Willie made his way through the grass jungle, he saw other insects out playing. Polly the potato bug was playing roly-poly with some friends. Lucy, the ladybug, was enjoying the warm sunshine on a blade of grass. Cody the caterpillar was eating a piece of grass. And Antonio the ant was carrying a big seed on his back. Just then, little Fred Jr. flew by overhead, yelling excitedly, "I can fly! I can fly!" Then Willie saw another worm. He slid over to her and introduced himself. "Hi, I'm Willie." "Hi, I'm Cassie," she replied. "What are you doing?" Willie asked. "Oh, I'm just enjoying the fresh air. It's so beautiful up here." "Aren't you ever worried about being eaten by a flying monster or drowned, picked up by a giant, or dried out by the bright light in the sky?" Willie asked. "Oh, no," Cassie replied. "Of course there are things to be aware of and precautions to take, but even with the risks, the beauty and experiences up here are worth it. I can't imagine living my whole life underground. That would be so dark and depressing." Willie didn't want to say that his life had been exactly what Cassie had said. Dark and depressing. Not to mention lonely. "Why do you ask?" "Well, I've just been taught my whole life how dangerous it is up here. This is actually my first time out of the hole," said Willie. "Wow, first time out of the hole, huh? Isn't everything up here so amazing? Look at what you've been missing. Great job for getting out." "Thank you," Willie said. Cassie continued. "Yeah, I decided that living is a risk. Anything can happen anytime. So why worry about things I can't control? I'm just going to live my life and choose to experience and be happy." "I see how life would be more exciting and fun with that perspective," Willie said. "How can I get there? I still feel very worried about being out here and feel like I should hurry back underground." "Oh, it will take time," Cassie said. "If you would like, I could help you." "Yeah, I would like that," Willie said. From then on, Willie met with Cassie each morning, and she helped him learn how to manage his worries and not let them hold him back. His worries were still there, but he was able to move on with his life, doing what he wanted, regardless of his worries. Day after day, he realized that most of his worries never happened. Had he stayed in his hole, he would have missed out on so much, like the worm Beatrice before him. As the time went, Willie was able to start helping other worms face their fears, like Cassie had helped him, and live lives of purpose. He began living courageously. So Willie the Worrier became Willie the Warrior. So this story is beautiful because it is a representation of my life. There's been times in my life when I've been terrified to get out of my hole and step into the light and allow myself to be seen. I was terrified. The first book that I published, I got it published, and then I just took a big sigh, a breath of relief, and was like, whew, good. The book's out. I'm done. And then I sat back and waited. And I would check Amazon and look for sales, and it wasn't selling. And that's when I realized that the next part about being an author is actually getting out there and promoting your book and sharing the message. And that terrified me. I was so scared. During the part of this book, as I was working to get this book published, A Worm's Worry, I actually joined a writer's group, which before I wouldn't do because I was too worried about what people would think about me and putting myself out there and getting that criticism, that critique, which is very important. I wouldn't allow myself to put myself out there. And so I wouldn't get that. So as I wrote that story and was getting it ready to be published, I, in my own way, had to step out of my hole to face my worries and fears and realize that, wow, most of the things I was afraid of and most things I was worrying about never even happened. And because I did that, the book became so much better than it could have been, or it would have been, had I not stepped out of my hole and allowed myself to meet other people. As you recognize in the story as well, Willie was very lonely because as we keep ourselves trapped in our fears and our worries, we don't really interact with people so much because we don't want them to see us. We're so afraid. Even when there was that other worm in the story that came up and said hi to him and wanted to connect with him, Willie couldn't connect because of where he was at with his fears and worries. It wasn't until he had stepped out or slid out of the hole that he was then able to connect with other people. So as you move forward in your life, I invite you to face your worries. Face those things that you're afraid of. Because you will find out that as you do so, you will find that the fear and the worry is actually more afraid of you. Ralph Waldo Emerson was the one that actually said that do the thing you fear, and then as you do so, the fear will disappear. Do the thing you fear, step out in your life, allow yourself to be seen, and I promise you that as you do so, you will experience more joy and happiness in your life as you get to the other side of the fear. Thank you for being here. If you found value in that story and would like to purchase it and share it with others, you can look at the link in the comments below and you can purchase it from Amazon. And I invite you to please share this with as many people as possible to help them face their fears and live life courageously. Thank you for being here. We'll see you again soon.